Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TARDIS Zone on this Friday evening. We've got some Doctor Who news. So, as you have seen since this morning, the thumbnail has been up, and of course, I've received some messages off people saying, uh, it's a bit clickbaity, isn't it? Well, that's the headline, so that's not my fault if the headline is a bit clickbaity, but I will discuss what it is. So, as you all know, last week, the boss of BBC Wales came out and said that Doctor Who basically could be made to the standards that it is because of the pandemic. Well, an article from the Express has come out from Charlotte Manning, which adds more to what he said. There is a possibility that Doctor Who Series 13 could be postponed altogether. It'll all depend on Wales' social distancing rules. Now, if Wales' social distancing rules are like the rest of the UK, there is a possibility that Doctor Who Series 13 might not happen. Now, this has been reported the last few weeks. And when there is reports, there has to be something in it, because anytime it's reported by the newspapers, and I must make this very, very clear, anytime anything like this is reported by the newspapers, a few weeks later, it's always confirmed, right? So just want to put that out there. There are YouTubers out there that have said in the past, don't listen to the newspapers. They're only with their clickbaity articles, but then they end up being true. Now, the reason why I wanted to highlight this, because obviously I was sent this article, and it is Doctor Who news, and we must discuss it, to be quite honest with you, because, at the end of the day, if Wales has the same social distancing rules as the rest of the UK, well, then the show cannot be made. I'm sorry. And that is the reality of the situation. The show will not be made. We've also been told that the cast and the crew, that none of them have even moved. They're still where they are. They're still on lockdown. They haven't moved from where they are. There has been no movement on the production side at all, according to this article. And it's in the Express. It's by Charlotte Manning. You can go and check that article out yourselves. It's just basically follows on to what the Welsh BBC boss had to say. Now, as I said, this is news, because if Doctor Who gets postponed, what does that mean for the future of Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall? We do know that they're slated to stay for Series 13. So if they do postpone it, are they going to wait with those two, or are they just going to call it a day? So this is the thing. We have to, this is why I've been, I decided to bring this up today. I got the article this morning, and I said, why not? This is Doctor Who newsworthy. It's something that's not being really spoke about by any other YouTube channel. They've kind of dismissed it, thinking that because UK is coming out of lockdown, that everything is just going to go back up and running again. That is not the case, believe it or not. Ireland as well is coming out of lockdown, but there's still a lot of places that are not open. Even here in RTE and TV3, as it used to be called, but it's called Virgin Media now. That's a TV station. They have their own shows. So we have an Irish soap over here. So they're not even making any movements on that either. And as you've seen yourself as well, the Premier League is up and running. For anybody that doesn't know, in America, that's soccer. The Premier League season has started back up again, and there's nobody in the stadiums. So if they're not allowing people in the stadiums, trust me, they're not going to be able to film Doctor Who, because as it was pointed out by Charlotte in this article, there's hundreds of people that work behind the scenes in Doctor Who, from your cameramen to your grips to, everybody plays a part. It's just not the film crew and the cast. There is a big team of people that are behind running this show and trying to get this show on the screen. So it's going to be almost impossible with these social distancing rules. So I'm being honest with you. For fans out there that are still saying they're on target for September, I would question that 100%. We are not going to be back filming in September. There is no way. And this was reported listen, as soon as this pandemic, this was the first thing that was brought up. Doctor Who was not going to be able to start production in September. I remember at the time when it was early in the pandemic, there was YouTubers out there saying, no, it won't affect production. It is going to affect production. 100% it's going to affect production. The Late Late Show, the Late Late Show, Derek, that's a good point. The Late Late Show is a live show that's on every Friday. Ryan Tubridy, the host of that, has been in the studio mostly all of his time during this pandemic on his own. So I haven't watched. I don't know now. I think it's finished now till September. But again, if he does come back, he will be coming back on his own. There won't be a studio audience because they can't take the risk. So look, for anybody out there still saying that they're on time for the film in September, I would say seriously, I'd question that right now. I just don't see how it's possible. Now, am I delighted that there's a delay or there's going to be a delay? No. Personally speaking, no. I want Series 13 to be over with as quickly as possible so we can move on. But if this gets dragged out and they decide that they're going to stick with Whittaker until she does her third season, and there's even talk now that she might actually stay on to Series 14 because apparently the goal is to make her the longest serving Doctor. So again, I don't know how people feel about that one, but I would want it to happen quickly. I'm hoping that they are able to film in September, but I highly doubt that myself now, to be quite honest with you. And I have to be truthful. It's not going to happen. The social distancing rules will not allow it to happen unless they find a unique way of filming. But I don't think this production team is clever enough to do something like that. Listen, you could film 6 or 7 episodes easy during this pandemic. You could do it. You could have a certain amount of people in the scene, and you could make it in a way that doesn't look like they're social distancing. They're very clever with technology today, right? Unfortunately, to do something like that would probably be too expensive for Doctor Who. But I just wanted Series 13 to be over. And this is why I wanted to talk about it, guys, because we have to face the facts and the reality. This could actually end up working in Whittaker's and Chibnall's favour. BBC might think again that everything has died down and say, all right, we'll give them a Series 14. Because we already know by Gary's news, right? Now, Gary and Matrix Lord and myself have been doing Doctor Who news on the 25th of May or the 27th of May. I actually told people that Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker were leaving. Gary was already sitting on this information because before, obviously, I went with my information, Gary had already indicated to me a few weeks back that he was sitting on some information, but I went ahead with mine anyway. And then, as you have seen yourself only recently, Gary has decided to throw his news out. But while Gary's video was blocked, the whole video was blocked so nobody could see it, then Matrix Lord then followed it up then, I think the same night or the night after with his own video. And his own video suggests that not only is Jodie Whittaker staying for Series 13, but she's also going to be staying for Series 14. Now, this would, if that does happen, this would make her the longest serving Doctor, because then there'd be a chance then that she's going to be in the 60th. And that would make her the longest serving Doctor. So again, we have to take that into account, because whether I like to admit it or not, and as I said, Matrix Lord will agree that up until a point it looked certain that the two of them were gone. And then obviously that meeting happened, and now everything was kumbaya and brilliant and everything is working. But let's be honest, Matrix Lord was right. He was the one that was saying that she was staying, and Chibnall was staying, and he was right in the end, wasn't he? Obviously, if they hadn't made up after that argument, they would have been gone. But he did say they were staying, and they're staying. So now he's saying they're staying again. So I wouldn't be dismissing Matrix Lord like that, like I did last year, to be honest with you. Me and Matrix Lord have come a long way since then. So I know when Matrix Lord says something, it's not bull. So there's a possibility. So there you go. So the news is basically Doctor Who Series 13 could be postponed because of social distancing rules. And as I said, you know, with Gary's news, my news, and Matrix Lord news, there are conflicting reports of whether they're going to stay beyond Series 13 or not. Right, let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. Also, we will read out some of your. We'll give you an old shout out there as well, as we always do. And we've got Maz One, we've got Graham Young, Bad Wolf Gamer, Charlotte Shields is here, Crystal, William, Derek, Scott is also here, Ben, Derek, I think I said Crystal, Ben, Charlotte is here as well. Welcome, Charlotte. And I want to give a special shout out to Daniel. Daniel's feeling a bit under the weather. He texted me earlier on to say that he doesn't feel up to being in the live chat. So if you're listening, mate, anyway, whatever is going on with you, just to let you know your friends are here, or just, you know, give us a chat, let us know what's up with you. And as for your Funko Pops that you were thinking of selling because you said you need to grow up, I don't know who told you that you need to grow up, but listen, don't be listening to them. You collected them because you like collecting them. Listen, I don't personally collect them myself. I have seen a few, especially in town where I go do my shopping. Eason's have a load of them, and I was looking at them, and there is a few that look absolutely amazing, to be honest. I know they're cute looking and all that, and maybe that's why you're thinking, but I wouldn't. Listen, as people are saying to you on Twitter, lots of people collect stuff. Look at Ian, for God's sake. He's never grown up. And I collect stuff as well, and I get sent stuff. So, you know, we all have our little hobbies. I wouldn't be... Listen, I know you're disenchanted with Doctor Who, but that doesn't mean you should get rid of any of your stuff. You know, you still have the past. You still have the past. Scott says, until Chibs and Whittaker leave the show, I am done sticking to Classic Who. That reminds me, well, come and join us tomorrow in the chat. We will be doing the Mind Robber every week, every Saturday. We pick a classic Doctor Who story from each Doctor. This week we're on Patrick. We're on Patrick Troughton. Next week it's Pertwee. And this week's story is the Mind Robber. So if you have that copy of the Mind Robber, you can come and join us. We're going to get everybody to join us as well, like we always do. And then they'll get if they have the story, they'll obviously put it on the same time as us, and we'll sit down, we'll have a discussion in the chat and a discussion live on air, and we have a panel of guests for that as well. So we have panelists. So come and join us for Classic Who Lockdown, as we call it here on the channel. Obviously, we did have Doctor Who Lockdown, and they didn't do any of the classics, so I decided to take upon myself to do it. And we've been running it now for the last, 6-7 weeks now, maybe 8 weeks. So we're on a bit of a roll. So if you do miss your Classic Who, come every Saturday to this channel, and we will be watching a Doctor story. And then on Sundays, if you still haven't got your Doctor Who fix, you can come and join us for the new Who watch along. We're on Series 2 right now, and we actually have school reunion on Sunday. I'm bounding into comics. Just wanted to stop by and say hi. Welcome. We have to stream again. I know we had a stream, but things got all messed up during the week, as you've probably seen. It's gone crazy. But if you're still up for that stream, we can organize it for next week. Just let me know. And if you haven't actually subscribed to Bounding Into Comics' YouTube channel, please do. They do live streams as well. And also, you will find most of their articles, obviously, on Twitter or online. Go and check them out. They work very hard, and they bring you news from the fandom that other uh, online, what would you call them? Online media outlets. They're more balanced. You won't get all the sugar-coated nonsense with these guys either. Straight talking, reporting, as they say, and that's what I like. So, bounding into comics, go and subscribe to their YouTube channel, and please check them out on Twitter or online. I'm sure they have other platforms there. If you would like to give yourselves a bit of a plug there, guys, go ahead. We've got Chris here as well, Spitfire Mark A1. James is here as well. Welcome, James. Nice to have you here, mate. To see James on Twitter all the time there. And Chris has put the link to Bounding into Comics in the live chat there, guys. So go and check it out. So Series 13, yeah, is the news. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. Actually, let me know in the comments there, guys, how you feel about what I've just told you. Because, you know, as I said, I just don't see how they can do. They've already said that they can't make the show at the standard that it needs to be at. And in fairness, I know people joke and say, well, it's being crap anyway, right? But I get what they're saying with the standard. You know what I mean? The production values and stuff like that. They wouldn't be able to reach those standards, right? So, in fairness, though, should they really be even attempting to make Series 13? Shouldn't everything not just be put on hold until they are ready? Until we know that it's safe to do so? I mean, this could go. Look, it could be near early next year before they go into production, because I do believe, and remember this date, guys, because I do believe that we're going to be on a second lockdown before Christmas. I've actually predicted mid to end September. So I don't see Doctor Who Series 13 going into production anytime soon. So let's see what you guys actually have to say. And our website is also on the live chat as well. Thank you, Chris, for that. Yeah, that's the article I'm talking about. It's by Charlotte Manning. Obviously, if you want me to read the article, would you like me to read the article, actually? I mean, I've kind of told you everything that's in the article. I mean, there's nothing else. And she kind of waffles on a bit, you know, like they always do when they're talking about Whittaker and Chibnall. Like, but I was just interested in the actual facts, the topic, the part that about being postponed. That was the part that obviously I was more interested in, because she waffles on, as they always do. Series 13 will be rubbish if they shoot it now, or if they shoot in 10 years. They have forgotten how to make it anyway. Exactly. With the regards to standards, the storytelling has fallen below Moffat standards. We don't need a lot Abrams style effects. We need compelling stories. I agree, and I don't think in this current climate they can actually do that justice unless the Doctor is locked in our TARDIS. Do you know what? Do you know how it probably work? If you had a whole scene at the end of Series 12 where she was locked up in that prison, if you had a whole series of her in that prison, right, and the companions off, say, in different locations, stuck, right, you could do, as I said, this was brought up anyway, is that they were considering doing point of view episodes because of the social distancing, right? So why not do that? You could get away with it that way. But again, the storytelling would have to be spot on. It would have to be better than what it is the last 2 years. And let's be honest, does anybody have any confidence in Chris Chibnall right now? Forget about Jodie Whittaker. When we talk about Chris Chibnall, has anybody got any confidence in Chris Chibnall to pull off a series where social distancing is a must? I don't think so. I really don't. So the question must be asked, is it even worth bothering to do? Should the BBC not just, I would love the BBC just to cut their losses, but I know they're not going to do that. That'd be the easiest option. Just cut their loss. This would be the perfect excuse to get rid of Chris Chibnall right now, right? They could say, we're putting the show on temporary hiatus, right? Because we can't make the show yet, right? And then that means then Chris Chibnall will go off and do something else. Then obviously Jodie Whittaker will go off and do something else. And there is talk, because Olivia Colman's been talking about it. Apparently she wants another series of Broadchurch. Right? Now, don't get me wrong. Series 1 of Broadchurch for me was the best one. Right? The other 2 seasons that followed up, I didn't really like. They were okay. There was in part 3, there was a scene in part 3 where I thought the father was going to kill himself. Right? He was in the boat, it was all emotional. Everybody was welling up. I was like, he's going to kill himself. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. And then in the next episode, he copped out. And then that's when I lost all Chris Chibnall. I was like, nah, forget about him, man. So you build all this up thinking we were going to think the dad's going to kill himself. And then you see, right at the end of the episode, we see him getting out of the boat. And we're thinking he's going to drown himself. Then he leaves it there in a cliffhanger. And then he come back next week and the father is fine. And I'm like, get away. That's Chris Chibnall. He uses things like that. It's called a plot device. Right? So he uses something like that. It's like the same way when there's a crisis, he uses countdowns and stuff like that. This is Chris Chibnall's mantra, right? He uses these things as to move the plot along. And it's actually shameful in some aspects. It's ridiculous. Let me see. So a lot of people are saying no. To make the show under the new guidelines, you'd need RTD, Grain Harper, simple as. I agree. There's a lot of no's. Doctor Who is no longer sci-fi, more like Hollyoaks in space. I agree. Chibnall can go and shove it in there, and then there's a load of stars. So we kind of know that was. Thank you, Nicholas, for doing that, because obviously if anybody uses bad language in the chat, YouTube, it does affect the algorithm, which is weird because I can curse on the stream, which I haven't done today so far. Yay! See, I can be on my best behavior when I do stuff, when I'm not being annoyed. But in fairness, I just want this to be over, and if it gets dragged out now, it's already a nightmare in the fandom. Imagine if this gets dragged out further. Oh, Jesus, they'll never shut up. It's already bad enough. She wants another Broadchurch because she knows it'll be hard to get a job after her terrible Doctor Who performance. No, Olivia Colman wants Broadchurch back. And Olivia Colman doesn't need Broadchurch back. She's an Oscar winner. She can actually get any job she wants. She obviously loved her time working with David Tennant on it. But I just want them to take Jodie Whittaker back. Not that she'd have much of a role to play. Listen, it was a struggle even after Series 2 to give Jodie Whittaker anything to do. So by Series 3, she became a counsellor or a grieving counsellor or something to that effect with no qualifications. Like, this is what Chris Chibnall does as well. Like, he gave Jodie Whittaker's character in that something to do in Series 3, and she absolutely had no qualifications except for the fact that she lost her kids. So Chris Chibnall thought, well, that's good enough. That's the qualification. Right? It's the same with Yaz being a cop. Right? What have we actually seen? Again, it's bad character development by Chris Chibnall. And Chris Chibnall is very bad. at that, and he always has been. He always has been. If he doesn't have anybody watching him or looking over his shoulders or watching what he's doing with the script, you get Series 11 and 12. You get Series 11 and 12. That's what you get. That's the result when he's left to his own devices. He cannot develop characters. He cannot develop a decent story arc. There's plot holes everywhere. Plot holes galore, right? And then he never explains them. I thought Moffat was bad for that. But at least with Moffat, if there was plot holes and it was pointed out to him, it's at least he tried to explain it. It might not always make sense, but at least he tried, right? Chris Chibnall doesn't even try. He just says, well, it's a plot hole. Who gives a, he doesn't give a crap. And if you have someone like that doesn't give a crap about a simple plot hole, right, and then goes and does the Timeless Children, where it has plot holes galore, right, and then it's like, well, stop moaning. I'm giving you what you want. You're not giving us what we want. If you were giving us what we want, you'd live. You'd hand the show over to someone that actually understands it, and you'd stop damaging the show, its reputation, and because of you and your casting, you've divided this fandom. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Clobbering Times says, I've had to create my own breaking off point for me as a Doctor Who fan of nearly 40 years. It's the 50th anniversary, 1963 to 2013, just a personal thing. I understand that a lot of people do stop at the 50th, and I understand that, mate. Listen, 40 years. Listen, the recent crap that I've been getting online, and all I've heard is grown men giving out about Doctor Who and getting upset about Doctor Who by these younger fans. Well, they obviously don't get it. And you're 40 years. So when they're 40 years down the road, they'll get where we're coming from. Right now, they're just foolish. They don't know. You know what I mean? And they'll never understand how we feel about Doctor Who, or how Doctor Who's affected their lives, or in some cases saved their lives. Listen, after the Timeless Children, I asked people to send me their stories, their memories of Doctor Who. And I put those videos up. There's 3 videos altogether. And I put it up. And the thing that was most startling is the comments. And the comments were like, I'm heartbroken. It was utter devastation what Chris Chibnall done. And when I see people belittling me because I broke down crying over the Timeless Children, it just shows the ugly side of the fandom. That's all it is. They'll never get it. And as far as I'm concerned, and I've said it plenty of times, they're not true fans. They'll never be true fans of this show. If some of them do end up sticking around after Jodie Whittaker leaves and Chris Chibnall leaves, then fine. Then they're obviously in for the long haul. But a lot of these fans will move on when Jodie Whittaker goes and Chris Chibnall goes, because, once Doctor Who and the BBC stop pandering, they will move on. The one bit of startling news actually that came from Gary's video that I actually didn't really highlight the last time we spoke about this was he said that, now this is rumor obviously, and he's made it clear, but I will make this clear, right? That he actually said it once, but I want to make this clear. This information that Gary got comes from the same source that told him that they were going to retcon Doctor Who. Do you remember when that video came out? Even me, I was like, no, Gary, they're not going to do it. And Gary was taking a lot of crap off everybody. They were calling him a liar. They were calling him this, that, and the other. And what happened? He was right. So it comes from the same source, right? But the most startling thing out of that whole information isn't the fact whether Chris Chibnall or Jodie Whittaker is gone. The most telling piece of information is what I said to all you guys from the beginning, right? After the Timeless Children, I broke down I remember Rabbi, and you could go back and watch it. I remember Rabbi saying this to me: don't worry, Noel, they will retcon this. It won't matter, so don't be getting yourself upset about it, right? Now, at the time, obviously, he genuinely believes that, right? But I could tell you now, right, That ain't gonna happen. I said it at the time, and I'm gonna say it again. And Gary's source has confirmed that BBC are afraid to retcon the timeless children. Now, why are they afraid to retcon the timeless children? Well, they've already had one fan backlash, right? And remember, most of this mob that goes around criticising fans like us is on Twitter. And BBC listen to those guys on Twitter. And a lot of the cast and crew of times past are on. And a lot of these people that are behind the magazine and production are all on Twitter. So once the Twitter mob starts kicking up a fuss about the timeless children being retconned, that's it. Then BBC then will be accused of being racist, homophobic, you name it, all the isms that we've been called. They will never retcon the timeless children. Not yet. It'll be decades before that happens. We probably won't be even alive if Doctor Who still even exists. That ain't going to happen. They are not going to retcon this series because the backlash from the other side, even though they're a vocal small minority, they have power in the right places. They have power in the right places. So I do not see this being retconned. I said it at the time, and I firmly believe that. That's why I got so upset, because I know they're not going to retcon this. Doctor Who, as we know it, was destroyed by the timeless children. And there is actually, and if you look at it, there is actually no coming back from it. Even if they were to retcon this, it happened. It was on screen. Chris Chibnall's the worst thing to happen to Doctor Who in its entire history. BBC will not retcon this. Derek, you're right. Not a hope in hell that the BBC will retcon. Of course they won't. They will not. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you start your mind as a fan stopped at the 50th, but you still watched. I know. I'm just Well, for me now, I have to be honest. Even though I do hate Twice Upon a Time, Peter Capaldi regenerating. When he starts to regenerate, just when he starts to regenerate, that's when it's over for me. That's when it ends for me. It ends before Jodie Whittaker appears as the Doctor. I know that's sad, but I just can't stand the actress. Everything that's come out of her mouth these last 2 years has been bull. She never has anything nice to say. It's always something about little girls, this, that, and the other. And I'm sick of it. You think little girls had nothing in this world the way she goes on. You think women had nothing in this world the way some of them go on. Right? Go back to the 1500s. Then you'll know what it's like to be a woman. Right? Then you'll know what it's like not to have any rights. Yeah? Then you'll know what it's like to be a fucking slave. Yeah? Way these women go on. Oh yeah, by the way, just a bit non-related. Brie Larson, yes, Captain Marvel herself has decided to grace herself onto YouTube. Yeah, she has decided that being in movies and preaching to us all is not good enough. So she's decided to bring people on that obviously love her, because she's not obviously going to bring people on that despise her. But she has her own little propaganda YouTube channel. And I'm not surprised. To be honest, a lot of these celebrities are moving on to YouTube now, trying to steal content creators' thunder. I just think it's pathetic. They need validation. And apparently the latest as well from her is now, I don't know how true this is, but there's a story going around on Twitter that she threw her boyfriend out of her house. If someone actually said Brie Larson has a boyfriend, yes, some poor unfortunate guy has been brave enough to date Brie Larson. And not because she's ugly or that, and Brie Larson's a good looking woman, let's be honest here. It's because she's an asshole. But anyway, apparently she was playing Mario Galaxy, whatever you call it, Galaxy Mario. I forget. I'm a Mario fan, but I never liked that game. But apparently she was being beaten, and no white dude is going to beat her or tell her what to do, as you know. So apparently she threw him out because she had to win the game. Now, this could be total bullshit, right? And this is probably just a jokey story going around, but this is Brie Larson. And nobody puts a bars there. So the story is kind of stuck. So I don't know if it's true, but it's a funny one. But if that did happen, that just goes to show you the mentality of the woman, right? Unfortunately, like most women of her age today, she's insecure. She obviously has personal issues, and she likes to project, right? And we see that a lot in fandom with other people out there. They like to project their own insecurities on fandoms, and I think she's the same. I think whatever happened to her when she was becoming an actress or whatever, she obviously had a hard time of it and has never fully recovered from that, and is a bitter woman now. And it's unfortunate because, you know, obviously Captain Marvel was the lesser. Oh, by the way, while we're cancelling celebrities, I'm surprised nobody has actually went after Brie Larson. I just want to remind people, and if there's any people here, just remind all the other YouTubers about that movie she made in India, the racist movie that was slated by the critics in India for being racist and stereotypical. How come nobody's brought that up about Brie Larson? They're all very quick to cancel Joss Whedon apparently for being a bully, and cancel other people. But yeah, she seems to be immune, but she did a racist movie. I actually did a video on it. And there's a couple of other people in it that I like. Donald Sunderland actually apparently was in this movie, which was a bit disappointing for me because I read the reviews. I watched a bit of the movie. I have to be honest with you. You would expect a movie like this, to be honest, and I'm just going to say you'd expect a movie with stereotypes to be made in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, maybe the 80s, but not today. And she took part in that movie, and the movie was panned, but yeah, she seems to be immune from any criticism. Why isn't anybody coming out after her for doing a racist movie? See what I mean? They'll cancel every man out there, but when it comes to a women seem to be immune. It's the same with what's her name? I don't know if I'm saying her name right. Alyssa Milano, that one that's always trying to cancel people. Well, a photograph of her has surfaced where she doing blackface. It's either blackface or brown face, if that's what you want to call it, or was it yellow face? She did one of them faces anyway, yeah? Now all of a sudden, now meltdown, she's crying. Well, you deserve it. You've been going around for the last few years cancelling people yourself. Now you're finally getting to taste what other people went through. So I hope now that this has happened to you, that you actually realise what you've been doing has been horrible and you've ruined people's lives. So I don't really give a crap. I'm glad you're cancelled. Glad you're cancelled. Right, cancelled yourself. It's funny that these people that have been going out cancelling people for the last few years are finally being cancelled themselves. And you know what? Normally I'd say this nonsense has to stop, but in their cases, I'm actually delighted. I'm delighted. Let's hope it continues. There's others out there that deserve to be cancelled as well. Right? Going and cancelling people for the last few years. It happens to you, and then he's all cry. He's actually go and cry and do the thing that you slag other people for. Run to his little safe spaces, his little snowflakes. Yeah, so she did that anyway, and yeah, she's trying to defend herself. You know, personally speaking, I don't think any of these people are racists. Personally, I don't. I think it was. In some cases, it was comedy, and it should be taken within that context. And other times, it how do I put it? It's look. I don't think what I'm trying to say is I don't think in most of these cases where people have been called out for doing blackface or whatever it is, I don't think the majority of them intentionally did it to be racist, right? But when it comes to people like her, I'm glad she's getting a taste of her own medicine. Because if you're going to do that to people and you're gonna actually, dedicate your life to doing that, which she has, well then you probably deserve a little piece of your own warrior justice, social warrior justice. Now, Joss Whedon, let's talk about him. So apparently Joss Whedon has been an asshole for a few years, and apparently he's given out to certain actors, and obviously actors and actresses. Now, obviously, apparently he gave out to a heavily pregnant actress, right? Now, here's the thing. If he was an asshole, fine. Why bring it up now? Why not deal with it years ago? I'll tell you why. Nobody likes this Justice League. So I think there's something behind this, right? And I think the reason why he's being cancelled is for the simple fact that I think there's a plan behind this. I don't think they are happy with Justice League, what he done with it. So I think what's going to happen is with the whole HBO Max thing, with that Justice League, with Zack Snyder's cut, and apparently Ben Affleck now has signed on to HBO Max. I'm telling you guys now, the reason why he's being cancelled is because they don't want to use his version of Justice League. I think they're going to go with, I think they're going to see how successful Zack Snyder's one is. And I think they're gonna go with what they should have went with in the first place, which was his vision. And I think they're gonna finally go with it. And I think that's why Joss Whedon, it'd be better to have him cancelled than to actually say, well, listen, mate, we're not using your movie, because then he could probably sue their asses. This gives them the excuse now, because they could come out and make a statement, well, we don't condone his behaviour, and for that reason, blah, 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 blah. And that's the end of his Justice League. Also, a couple of the actors involved in the movie have actually disowned the movie. So if anybody doesn't think that there's a connection here, of course there's a connection. Listen, if he was an asshole for years, why wasn't he reported years ago? He's only being reported now because it's convenient to do so now. Remember, most of these people that are being cancelled, it's convenient now for them to be cancelled. And also, as well, I've noticed that there's also a lot of blokes all of a sudden being accused of being paedophiles and being cancelled and having to come out with apologies. Now, I did see I don't know if he's I don't know what he does, but he's some CEO. Apparently, he was supposed to be asking young lads to show them pictures of their todger and stuff. Now, if that's true, he came out and, well, listen, he came out and apologized. He came out with a statement and said he was young and reckless. He was in his 20s. I'm sorry, man. But if you're asking lads to show them their private parts, I'm sorry. I don't give a shit about your apology. You should be you should step down, like people said. Simple as that. Exactly. Why now are they going after Wheaton? Exactly. Clobbering times. There's something behind this. I said it yesterday as well, right? There's something behind this. And it's not a clear cut, right? Because if he was like this, right, and this behavior has gone on for years, like some people claim, why didn't people pull him up about it? They're pulling him up about it now because there's an advantage of pulling them up. Remember, all of these little attacks and all of these accusations, there's a reason behind them. In some cases, they're genuine, but in other cases, it's not as bad as people make it out to be, but they find a way of cancelling this person. And that's what I believe is happening here. I don't know the full details of the Joss Whedon thing, only the stuff that I've read, right? Now, I don't think it's a crime being an asshole, to be honest. That is no excuse to cancel anybody. But if he's done anything untoward, well then, yes, he deserves to be thrown out on his ass. But by the looks of things, all he's being ever is an asshole. And is that any reason to criticise or to cancel anybody? I mean, most on the other side of the fandom think I'm the biggest asshole going. Do I deserve to be cancelled? No. I have my opinions, and I have my own views on things, and I'm entitled to do so, just like the other side are. But this is the era that we live in. They tried to cancel me, as you're all saying. And look how weird that got them. Cancel culture is a cancer, and it needs to be cut out. There's too much going on in the world, and I think people need to refocus. Do you know, I said to someone last night, with the whole lot of us need something else to focus on. So I was thinking, if there's any aliens listening to me right now, an alien invasion would be great. Seriously, because we need something big like that to happen for all of this nonsense, for everybody to actually take a step back and say, oh, hang on for a minute, we've got something else to deal with that's a bigger issue here. And I'm not saying racism is not a big issue. It should be sorted out, but it's getting clogged up in all this other nonsense. Now, I've seen a lot of posts, and I'm going to say here online, I've seen a lot of posts of Americans. My wife is American, as you know, saying that they're not going to celebrate Independence Day this year, right? Because of all the stuff that's going on. And I would say this to you, get those American flags out and hang them and fly them with pride. You are an American citizen. Yes, your country's gone through some turmoil. Yes, your country has a past. We all do. Every country has a past. But do not for 1 second let these people stop you guys from celebrating the independence of your country. There's plenty to be proud of too. Yes? Don't let these people stop you. All right? Enjoy yourselves. Yes, there's shit going on in the world, but it can be sorted out. Like, not celebrating your Independence Day. For God's sake, come here for a minute. Easter here, right? We celebrate no matter what, right? And look at the Irish history. And if anybody knows anything about the Easter Rising or anything, right, you will know how bad that was, right? And we, once a year, we still mark that no matter what, right? Every country has a past that they're not proud of, right? But it's what you make of it today. And to be honest with you, America wasn't doing too bad, yeah? It's like it's gone backwards now. But you can fix this. But celebrate our Independence Day. Be proud to be an American. Not to be ashamed of. The way people are talking on Twitter, some people, it's like as if people are ashamed to be American. Don't be ashamed. Don't let these people make you ashamed to be American. Absolutely ridiculous what's going on. Now they're talking about pulling down Mount Rushmore. Like, what the... Get away! It'll be the Statue of Liberty next. They'll find something wrong with the Statue of Liberty because the Statue of Liberty is green or something. Wait till you see. It'll be something stupid like that. I'm sorry. I know people are probably rolling their eyes right now, right? But that's how stupid it's got. Right? When you say someone will find that the French were racist or something, and then they'll demand the Statue of Liberty taken down because the French were racists. Where does it all end? The problem isn't statues or monuments. The problem is racism, right? You deal with that first, and then you can deal with the statues and all that afterwards. And they burnt down, what was it? An elk. Was it an elk or something? Or yeah, unnecessarily burnt down an elk. Like, they're burning. Listen, if people out there don't see what these people are doing, right? They just want to destroy everything. Everything. They want to erase everything that your country became. No, I'm sorry. You have a past. You must embrace it, and you mustn't make the same mistakes again, right? But tearing down stuff, that's like you're tearing down stuff because you just want to forget it actually happened, right? It happened. if I was an American citizen, I'm not. I'd have my American flag out tomorrow and I'd be celebrating like there's no tomorrow. I'd celebrate Independence Day like I've never celebrated it before. I don't give a crap. Don't let these people stop you from celebrating who you are. As I said, Ireland has a horrible past as well with babies and paedophilia, with priests, right? But we don't hide from it, right? We talk about it. We sort it out. Priests being arrested and everything. Everything was sorted. There's still cases obviously still being discovered, but still it's being sorted. You have to sort out your issues. Yeah, media always hype and add fuel to the fire, unfortunately. Unfortunately. It's like they're now. I'm not. I hate to say this, but they're no better than terrorists. I mean, ISIS gone around blowing religious statues and all up. Look, I'm not a religious person myself, but you know there are people that are religious, and to see their statues being blown up, of course, it's going to upset them. You know, I just don't know where all this madness stops. Well, apparently the news that I've been talking about is not news at all. It is news, and if people on Facebook don't want to believe that this is actually a story, well then that's your own tough. It is a story, because of social distancing, and it is important to talk about because Doctor Who's slated to be shown next year. So they would really need to meet that goal. They would actually have to be in production by September, and that looks like it's not going to happen. So which means the series is definitely going to be delayed either way. Whether that delay now is going to be permanent or whether it's going to be temporary, we don't know yet. So yeah, it is news. So for people out there that are still saying this is a non-news story, remember, the media does report this and people do come out and say, oh, don't be listening to those articles, they're wrong. And then a few weeks later, what happens? They're confirmed by other media outlets or it's confirmed by BBC themselves. So I wouldn't be dismissing this one. So, yeah, I just don't know. I personally just want it all done and over with so we can move on from this. But again, I don't think fans are going to move on. BBC are not willing to retcon this nonsense. How do you expect to win fans back? That's the whole point. I think a lot of us were waiting for Chris Chibnall to go so the BBC could make that choice of retconning it. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So why would fans come back? Why would fans come back? I don't see fans coming back, to be honest. They've been hurt too much. And that's the thing. This is what the other side won't get. It's not just anger anymore. There's a deep hurt. The fans do not like what they have seen happen to their show. And the Timeless Children is an abomination. I mean, I actually have people defending the fact that a Gallifreyan woman experimented and murdered a child multiple times. And their justification of that is because Rassilon went mental and was hungry for power. Well, I'm sorry, you're not going to retcon 50 odd years of history with that stupid storyline. You're certainly not going to belittle the Time Lords. And by the way, you newer fans might be okay with the fact that they revealed everything about the Time Lords. But us older fans, and I can say that there is a few younger fans out there as well that didn't want this. This is like when George Lucas revealed how Darth Vader came about. You ruined the lore. When you reveal something about it, it's same with Ridley Scott with the alien. When you start messing with the lore of a race, like the Time Lords or as Ridley Scott did with the Xenomorph, well then you take away that mystery. Now, Doctor Who fans have always been okay with the odd little bit of information about the Time Lords, right? Or Gallifreyans, whatever you want to call it, the Doctor's people. Well, they're not even the Doctor's people anymore. But you get me. We've always had little snippets, enough to keep us satisfied. But we've never wanted to know everything about them. Never. That was the whole thing. And now we know the reason why the Doctor apparently was left was because the Doctor was bitter for the fact that the Doctor was murdered and experimented on. Right? So that's the reason why the Doctor ran away from Gallifrey. Again, no, that is not good enough. That is not good enough. You want us to accept this rubbish as canon, right? The murder and experimentation of a child. It's okay to brutalize a child on screen. We seen it. We seen her reject the child. It's okay to do that to a child. It's an absolute disgrace, right? And you know what? Do you know what? I will say this. If he actually had to come up with a decent story that explained how the Time Lords came about and didn't do it this way, right? We'd still have a problem with it. You're still giving away information that fans. You ask any older fan. I'll ask in the chat, is there any older fan here or any younger fan that is listening to me right now in the chat that actually wanted the whole origins of the Time Lords revealed? Or were you happy with the information that you had been given? Let me know in the chat, because it'll be interesting to see. We've got Alpha Omega here as well. We've got Michael Richardson. And we've got, I seen him there, David Travels Through Time. David, we will be doing a panel at some stage, mate. I did try to get some guests on, but there wasn't enough to just bring one person on. It's a Friday night, and the fact that I always ask ahead, but I didn't. So I hadn't got any guests lined up for this stream. But definitely the next time, or if there's enough people, hold on for a minute. There's anybody here? We're 58 minutes in. Who wants to join me for the last hour? And by the way, good news for anybody that has StreamYard but has bought the basic package now, or the professional package. You can have you can have 9 people now on the screen. So I can actually bring on 8 guests now. So if you want to guest right now, Lee, if you'd like to come in as well, no problem, mate. If there's anybody else that would like to come on now, let me know. And I will, for the last hour, we'll have a discussion on this. Old fan says Crusader, and he says, no, don't be loyal to showrunners and actors, all good at being fake and lovey. Exactly. It was Omega and Rassilon and the other that did it. Exactly. This is not canon for us, not the true origin, says David Travels Through Time. I nominate Lee to come on as well after, because I know Lee is going to be joining me the weekend anyway, but for the watch-along. But if you want to come on, I'll add you, and then I'll put the link in the chat for anybody that wants to join. But listen, I have to be strict now, right, on this. If you're going to join the stream, make sure you have earphones on, because we're getting a lot of feedback. And I have to be honest, all my streams are getting limited now because of it. It's the same with the watch along last week. They actually won't monetize the stream now because there was a little bit of sound seeping through. They're very, very strict all of a sudden, or they're being very picky. But every second stream that I put up is being limited now. And it's actually annoying me. Because I tell you, if I was worried about making money on this channel, I'd be screwed. And that's what YouTube actually wants you to do. But like for me, it's never about that. But there you go. I forgot to put that up actually on the screen because it's not next week. Sorry. Hold on. I'll just edit that. Right, there we go. That should do it. So there you go. That's the hashtag for this week. It's That's Not Jamie. Hashtag That's Not Jamie. So if you're on Twitter, don't forget now, if you're posting any classic, just use that hashtag as well. Maybe throw up a few pictures of the story as well. Get people interested. So has anybody agreed to come on? StreamYard is free, Michael. Michael, you get 20. I think you get 28 hours free. But then if you want to buy it, then you get unlimited hours. So you get 20. I think it's 28 hours a month or something like that. Obviously, you won't use the whole lot, especially you if you're not streaming all the time like me. But yeah, it'd be good enough for you. By the way, StreamYard is free. So if you even have the basic package, or not the basic package, if you get the free package, you will get the stream and you will be able to come on. And don't forget, Monday, we announced it on the channel, the phone-ins are coming back as well. We're going to have a panel with the phone-ins, and if anybody wants to ask a question. So Lee is coming on. So we'll bring Lee on. And David Travels Through Time wants to come on as well. So we'll bring David on as well. I still think I have your email address, David. But if not, I don't know if you text me on. Didn't you text me on Messenger? If just text me your email. Hold on, I'll see if you're here. Text me your email on Messenger. Don't put it in the live chat. Don't want anybody to troll you. Right, Lee, that's sent. If anybody else wants to come on for the last hour, you are more than welcome. I'd love to come on and talk who sometime, but I know you don't know me. You've been here a few times in the chat. If you want to come on, obviously, you know, I do be a little bit cautious, but, you know, why not? Sure, look at if anybody... You know, if anybody took the opportunity to have a pop at me, it's easy to remove people anyway, so it's no big deal. And I'm sure one day someone will get on and have a pop at me. Yeah, also StreamYard is available on mobile phones. They've made it clear now that you can actually use it on mobile phone. The only problem with a mobile phone is, though, and I'll just say this, is sometimes the screen might get stuck. StreamYard is it's just a streaming app that, and yeah, you should just get it, download it, get it, and come on. If there's anybody else that wants it, look, if anybody does want to come on these panels, StreamYard for me is the best. It's what I use, it's what I pay for. So if you want to come on, get StreamYard. As I said, it's free. You get a certain amount of hours a month. And if you're going to be coming on streams here or other people's streams, you're not going to be on that long, if you know what I mean. So you'll be able to do it. Gary wants to know, have I got Gary, have I got your email, mate? Just let me know in the chat, just to make sure. Lee, I have sent you that email. I don't know if you got it. Let's see if I got you in the chat. Gary, I don't know if you're, I forget where you're following me. If you're following me on Messenger or Twitter, send me your email address if you haven't already. Hold on. No, because I have other Gary there. Right, there's Lee. Oh, why didn't I get the beep beep? It normally tells me. Yeah, so do you only have to pay? Yeah, if you want more time. So I get unlimited. And you also get a few little extra features, but it's not any different to the basic, really. But now I can, as I said, I can have 9 people on. But here's our first guest. Obviously, the last time he was on, if you remember, he had that epic I won't call it a rant because it wasn't a rant. It was an epic put down of all the nonsense that's been going on. And I have to say, we did finally get that clip, and I want to thank Thundercats Ho. I did put it up, and I have to actually say, Lee, before I do bring it on, the amount of support that you've actually gotten in the I don't know if you've actually seen the chat, mate, or the comments on the video, but absolutely fantastic. Everything is so positive. People are praising you. Seriously, as I said, you'll never understand how much that meant to me, what you did. And I'm glad I know there's someone out there that has me back anyway. So I'd like to introduce everybody to Lee.
Hello. Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave rant.
Look at his little smiley face. What is that? What's that? Surreal?
That's the Committee for the Surrealist Investigation of Claims of the Normal.
Right.
It's because there's an organization that investigates the paranormal.
Yeah.
And the Discordians came up with a counter group to look for claims of the normal, because when people just say that something is normal, you can always find something extraordinary in the normal. So they the other side, the paranormal debunkers, came up with £1 million if you could prove the paranormal, and it's never been claimed. So the Committee for the Surrealist Investigation into the claims of the normal also put up £1 million for anyone who could prove that normality exists. So no one's ever claimed that on either. So I think that's quite funny. It's a parody. It's good. It's good fun.
Right, I'm gonna put this link in the chat because obviously we're having problems. Nobody's sending me their email addresses, so I don't know what's going on. So I do this because it seems to be easier if I do this. Well, it would be if I see for someone that's supposed to be going around making up fake stuff. I still can't do. What do I press? What's it again to copy and paste?
You got it's Alt or something. Is it Alt and C?
Is it Alt and C? Oh, I'm pressing the other one. All right, Grant. I think it is that one.
And it's Alt and V, I think.
Alt and C, and then Alt and V. No. Yeah, but that is it. But why isn't it working? Hold on. Right.
So, for me, it's Command and C because it's Apple.
Davey, you shouldn't have really put your. I didn't want you to do that. You should have texted me on Messenger because I don't want people. Now people have your bloody email address.
I removed it.
Right, hold on. We'll get you on anyway. I'll write it down before it disappears. Listen, just send it to me on Messenger. It's so much easier because you follow me on Messenger. Send me your email on Messenger, will you? Hold on, Clark Hero. I'll see if it's here.
Oh, Control C. Sorry, I don't use Windows, so I forgot what it was.
So Control C and then Control V. Yeah, that's what it is. But I'm doing that, but for some weird reason, right there, I've highlighted it. So there, right. So Control C and then Control V. There, it should come up, but it's not.
Can you not right-click it?
No, I can't because Noel is not good at these things. I don't even know what right-click means.
You're an honorary boomer.
Oh Jesus! And apparently,
oh dear.
This is all. This.
Can you not?
Send it to me on Messenger. Yeah, send it to me on Messenger. Well done. Just do that. I swear to good God, this
before Noel has a complete meltdown.
Anybody actually? Can you not do it that you're here? You're a mod. Can you not actually freaking copy it? No. No.
Who, me?
Yeah. Can you not do it? No.
What? And put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do that.
Oh, there you go. Lee can do it.
Right, put it into the chat. Okay. Yeah, so I thought you were doing it like in private. Okay, there you go. It's up.
Jesus Christ, man, I'm bad. See this? See, me and technology, mate. I tell you, and you know what? When I see some of the stuff said about me on Twitter about what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm like, are you for real? Do you not watch my streams? I'm like probably the dumbest person when it comes to technology. Oh,
harsh but fair. Oh dear. Things like that happen especially when you're doing something else and you're focused on trying to talk and you've got other things to think about. Yeah,
David, you don't have to go. You don't have to go into Messenger now. Lee has actually put the link.
The link's up in the chat.
It's in the chat already. You never know. And for any of you little trolls that are watching, this is your opportunity now. I've always invited someone on, so if there's anybody on the other side that would like to talk about the Doctor Who news.
Oh, they'll just come on, say something nasty, and then hang up.
Yeah. Well, let's bring on our other guests because we've got a few guests, and I'm excited about this because I'm glad people. And listen, if you want to come on, and it doesn't matter how big or small you are, get yourself StreamYard and I'll bring you on. You know I'll do that. The more the merrier. Right, let's start. We've got another 3 guests. Someone popped off. Gary, I think, has popped off, but we'll get him back. So let's start in order. So our next guest joining us tonight to talk about, for the next hour, to talk about the Doctor Who news is Ben, Clobbering Times. Welcome.
Hello there, my friends. I'm a big fan of both of you fellers.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. I love the avatar, by the way. Love it.
Excellent.
Love it.
I'm an ugly American, and I went all out because I'm made of rocks. If you're going to be an ugly American, be Ben J. Grimm, the ever-living blue-eyed thing.
I love it already. Right, let's bring on our next guest. And if I'm correct, I think David is all the way from Australia.
Wow.
I hope I'm right. But yeah, it's David travels through time. And let's hope we can get him.
Oh, it's loading.
It's loading.
There.
It's a loading.
From down under.
Yeah. Signal's weak down there, obviously.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just remove David for a minute until he's gone. I knew that was going to happen. He's probably using a mobile phone. It'll take him a few seconds. He will get on. But we will bring David on as soon as we can. Right, but let's bring on our next guest. He's always in the chat, actually, and it's an honor to actually have him on the stream tonight. I'd like to introduce everybody to Gary.
Thank you.
Hello, Gary.
Hi.
Nice to have you here,
Gary.
Okay.
Nice to have you here. Is David back? Let's see. I think we might have got. Oh no, David's still loading.
He's still thinking about it.
So we'll give David a few minutes. Right, guys, while David is getting himself sorted, and we will get you on, David, you might need to actually leave the studio and try add yourself again. As I said, the link is in the live chat, so you can come back in anytime. Right, guys, I'll basically ask you about, obviously, the latest from the BBC Wales boss. Obviously, this is still a continuation of the interview that he did. And obviously, this is obviously the quotes that he was coming up with, and your woman, who I have called out last year for some of her articles. So it is interesting that she's even coming out herself and saying this. But I want to ask you guys, how do you feel about the series if it was delayed? How would you feel about that? And what do you think it means for the future of Whittaker and Chibnall, if it does get cancelled, right? If it does say they have to postpone it, what do you think? Do you think Whittaker and Chibnall are going to hang on?
I think that it could be an opportunity for whatever's going on in the background. I mean, there might be people jostling to take it over or something. There might be some sort of lust for glory. I don't know. All I can do is hope it goes away. The sooner the better. The problem with it being delayed is that this edges even closer towards the 60th anniversary. And that is a worry, because I do not want to see Chibnall still in his position at that time, that would be the worst possible thing at all. So we'll see. I mean, it really does depend if there is people willing to stick their neck out and to do something and try and reclaim the show back from Chibnall's grip. You know, I mean, it's just really worrying that especially if they break it into two halves.
Yeah.
Start filming later, then release it later, and it's in two halves over 2 years. Then it's so close. Unless they get rid of them just before the 60th. You know, that's the only thing I'm more worried about than whether or not, you know, it comes back at this stage. You know, I mean, it's the 60th for me, which is the focus.
Yeah, and we do know that they are definitely going to do a 60th. So if obviously this pandemic doesn't delay everything, there will be a 60th. Gary, what do you think, mate? I mean, what does this news signify to you? I mean, would you be happy if Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker were and here, listen, we also must add Matrix Lord has also said, though, in his information, that there's a possibility that they could actually stick around for Series 14. So if this Series 13, right, because Lee is right, if Series 13 is split up in half, it's going to be over 2 years. Then if they're doing Series 14, sure, that brings them right up. Isn't it a year away from the 60th then? So there's a big possibility that she's going to feature heavily in the 60th if she doesn't go. But what do you think anyway, Gary? What's your thoughts on the whole situation?
I think there's a couple of points, to be honest. Number one was, if I was Jodie Whittaker, I would want to see it through to the 60th, because she's not only made history as the first female doctor, but that sense of pride. They haven't listened to any of the fans' criticisms or concerns. So to me, it's a sense of pride. They're just going to push forward with it. And I think she's going to see it through to the 60th. And the second thing I also think is that what they are trying to do with the behavioural change across TV programming, diversity, inclusion, I think if you're over a certain age, they just want to get rid of you. So people of my, I mean, I'm a 50-year-old man now, so, but people of a certain age and certain demographic, I think they just want to get rid of them now, and they're catering to this new millennium and Generation X or whatever you want to call them. And that's what 3 million viewers, they're going to keep them. They're going to try and keep them. That's the audience that they're pandering to.
Yeah, but it's the people in their 40s and 50s who are paying for the TV license. A lot of these millennials don't. They expect everything for free. I just think it would be throwing everyone under the bus. You know, I mean, Doctor Who. Let's have a look at that demographic. The new demographic they tried to bring in hasn't appeared. It really has, not en masse. The people that tune in to watch Doctor Who are people in their 40s, 50s, and above.
Still. You're right. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. They didn't. That's the gamble that BBC took during Series 11. They tried to replace us fans, Gary. You're right. They want us out, and they tried to replace them with younger, hipper fans. But it hasn't actually turned out the way that they want, because you look at the viewing figures now, it actually backs that up. Lee, do us a favour, will you? Put that link in the description again for Michael, will you?
Yeah.
Michael says he keeps sending them to YouTube Studios.
Weird.
Yeah, but you've also got to remember.
Click into your name, though. If you click onto your screen, it should say add you to stream. So just make sure that you could be in StreamYard. It sounds like you are, because you said studio. So I think you are. I think you just need to click on your name, add yourself to the stream. It'll say add yourself to the stream, and then I can add you then onto the screen then when you pop onto my screen. So the link is there. It's just at the being put in by Lee there. So yeah, I don't think they have succeeded. But Gary makes a valuable point there. I mean, why would they get rid of her now? And here, listen, as I said, there is a thing, and this was even said during Series 11, and I must bring this back up again. It was said that Chris Chibnall's vision was to see Jodie Whittaker as the longest serving doctor. That's what he wants for her. Now, whether he has changed his mind on that because of obviously what's happened, but that's down to him. That's not all down to her. Yes, she's not the greatest actress in the world, but most of the problems with Doctor Who are down to him. So, I mean, look, he's done her a disservice. She's done herself a disservice as well, because obviously she hasn't done the things that she needs to do, and she hasn't been well received by this fandom. So, you know, for me personally, I want Series 13 to finish as quick as possible, and then I want her gone, and I want him gone. But I don't see it happening. What do you think, Clobbering Times? Do you think she's staying, like Gary? Do you think she's going to stay for the 60th? Do you think there's a possibility? Because I do know Gary is right. They do want to make Jodie Whittaker, because this was last year. He was even quoted. He wants her to be the longest serving Doctor. How would you feel about that anyway? How would all you feel about her being the...
Well, man, I tell you what, I'm finally, I put up with enough. I think I will not be going back. And I sat through this past season, so you'd think I'd be able to sit through anything, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people like this, and I'm belaboring the obvious here because we all know the more pushback and criticism they get, the more, the more defiant they become. They want to throw it back in people's faces. Now, unless something drastic happens with the BBC, and I don't know a whole lot about the BBC, I think they're going to want to keep her as long as they can. Now, whether she wants to continue to do it or not, I don't know about that. I don't know her. But I think I tend to agree with Gary that she probably would stay for a while, even if there's some missing seasons as there have been before, and they don't do it as much until the 60th. I think that will be it. And these people like this, Chibi.
It's sheer
Jodie,
bloody-mindedness from the BBC, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. They're very defiant, and all the very deserved pushback and criticism they have received just makes them double down. It makes them more. It strengthens their idiotic resolve to do their thing. So nothing is going to change or be cured on Doctor Who anytime soon.
We know that there is there is certainly a group of people in the background there within the BBC and within Doctor who probably are not happy with what's going on either. So, I mean, I don't know the politics of the BBC in terms of the power structure within that group specifically. But there might be an opportunity there for someone to swoop in and say, we're taking over. I don't know. Maybe I'm living in dreamland, but
it's
we do
tough
hope
to imagine.
We do hope.
Yeah, well, I can't. I don't have that kind of faith in them, but I understand. You could absolutely be right that there are people in the background like that. But everything we've seen from the BBC is they are not smart. And
they
don't care.
They're ideologically possessed with common purpose ideology, and common purpose are obviously the shadowy charity, inverted commas, that does the diversity, inclusion, and intersectional training. And trains the inverted commas leaders into positions of power within the BBC and other organisations in pretty much every aspect of.
Well, we've got Michael. Sorry, Lee.
Yes.
We've got Michael in waiting. Michael, I just tried to add you there, and there was an awful lot of feedback from the stream, so we can actually hear the stream. I'm not to send you a private message there, but I'll just say to you, if you could put a pair of earphones on and actually listen to us through your earphones, make sure you have obviously a little mic on it, because there's too much feedback, mate. I'll try to add you here now, and hopefully there isn't, but there was there a second ago, so I had to remove you real quickly.
There you go. Looks like he's back.
A lot of typing, furious typing.
Yes, indeed. That StreamYards is pretty good, though. It's takes getting used to.
Well, there's Michael now. Michael, can you hear us?
Hello?
Yay, we got him.
Michael.
Hello, Michael.
So this is Michael Richardson, guys. He just be in the chat all the time. He wanted to join us. David,
to be honest, I wanted to join just to say hello, Problem. Lee, to say thank you for everything the past few days. You're amazing, mate.
Cheers. I mean, I just spoke my mind, tried to be stunning and brave.
Listen, I don't know if you have realised you've gotten some amazing comments on YouTube.
No, I did see that. I didn't respond because I know
you're probably a little bit.
I have to be.
Well, listen,
I'm being humble.
You deserve it. Listen, what you did for me that night was amazing. You did.
Well, I think any right thinking person would have interjected at that, because what I was seeing was horrible. It was just such a nasty attack, and it's like, how intolerant are these people? And it's like, I'm sorry.
Oh god, my generation are weird.
I'm so sorry.
Don't worry.
People like you that actually give your generation some credit.
No, to be fair, mate, I'm not perfect, mate. I mean, I made mistakes, and I made a mistake with,
Nobody is. Listen, we all make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. And anybody that's out there that claims that they're a liar. We all make mistakes. That's how we grow as human beings. I've done some foolish things in my time. We all have. The thing about it is, once you learn from those things, you don't make the same mistake again, then you're good. Listen, the majority of your generation is not lost. It can be saved. The problem is, though, is that, as I said, there is a vocal minority that are leading this young generation, and unfortunately, voices like ours get drowned out by them, and that's going to be the reality for a while. I just hope, like yourself and Daniel and others, that you are smart enough to see what's happening and to see that it's all bull. And finally, I think it's going to be your generation that is actually going to stop all this nonsense.
I hope so. I really hope so.
It'll be the one after.
It's just embarrassing what these people are saying.
To stop it, and you've seen the way we've been treated. So it's either this generation themselves.
Yeah, but the problem is there's no respect. They have no respect. They don't. They don't respect their elders. They don't respect history, and
it's all about them. They should all wear t-shirts. All wear t-shirts saying it's all about me.
It's like my lecturers in college. They're like, they say the same things about me. They're snowflakes. They're just go.
Wow.
David, just to let you know, mate, just so I let everybody know on live as well, just in case. I have asked you on Messenger. I've sent you a message to send me the email on Messenger. So if you could check your Messenger if you still want to come on. We've got about half an hour to go. So if you want to come on for the last half hour, send us your email. I've sent you a message there.
Oh, no, I've got a message from you. Oh, sorry, no, it's just about headphones, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can I say that I'm jealous that you all have cool accents, but me, I sound like a dumbass. Oh, man, you guys are amazing.
American accent sounds cool. What does my accent sound like?
Covering time. Where are you from?
I am from Louisiana, so nothing special there. But I've been doing this for 11 years, but I just moved to YouTube. But I've been doing it on Blog Talk Radio. Yeah, I know no one's ever heard of that.
No, brilliant.
700 episodes there, and I just moved over here. So just getting started.
Ted obviously loves it. If you want to throw up any links on
well, you have to remember, we grew up in this country watching American films, and America always seems so exotic to us.
Yeah.
So we grew up with American culture and loving it.
It did, and it's sad to see what's happening right now. Listen,
yes, it is.
I'm just going to say something, right? Because it's not. I just want Americans to know out there that it's not just Americans that are feeling this. We feel it, witches. We see what's happening in the country. And I have to be honest, it's depressing, it's upsetting, because the rest of the world does look to America as still to this day, even though let's be honest, America hasn't really been, as you would call, quote unquote, a superpower in decades. Yes. Always been a beacon of hope, a beacon of light, and when you look at it,
I have to agree with that. Yes.
What you see, what's happening now, it's stressful. It's stressful. I mean, this stressful. Where did I get that? I made up my own word. It's stressful. It's heartbreaking. It is. I'm not an American citizen, and I feel it. I'm married. Listen, Cheryl feels it every day. Every day I wake up to something new. She has to tell me about something's happened, and she's devastated. And I can understand it.
Oh, sure, I'm so sorry.
For her living here in Ireland, watching it on the outside, I mean, she's not in there now, but she can actually see it better now because she is on the outside, so she's not getting caught up in the whole lot of it. She can actually look at it with a broader view, if you know what I mean. She can look at it without being biased, and she's heartbroken. She's absolutely heartbroken what's happening. I mean, so one day she was inconsolable. I just don't know what to be saying to her. She's watching her country right now destroy itself. And that's why I say to people, tomorrow is Independence Day. Get out those American flags. Do not be ashamed.
Yeah, because the 4th of July, anti-colonialism day.
Whatever
be on board.
Listen, you keep the Brits out just like we did. So that has to be something to be proud of.
I'll tell you, I am proud, but I will say that I can't speak for my entire country, but many of us who not only love, of course, your wonderful TV shows from over there. I think this is not just about America, and I do love it, and I will be celebrating. It's about celebrating freedom, and that means loving our brothers and sisters in Western civilization.
Exactly.
We're America, but we're also Western civilization. All of the free countries, no country's perfect, naturally, but UK and Ireland and Australia.
Love
you all.
Sorry, I've got a go. Sorry.
Say that again.
I've got go. Sorry.
Oh, sorry to hear that. But listen,
sorry, I've just got to go do something.
You're more than welcome to come on again sometime.
Oh, thank you. Can I just say thank you for all what you're doing for everyone. You're amazing. Thank you, Bolstret, Nerderotic, Daniel, Rabbi, everyone. Thank you, and Lee. Keep chin up, mate.
We will win.
They don't speak to us.
Listen, Michael, we ain't going anywhere, so you be guaranteed that. So we're around for the long haul. As I said, the only way that this all stops me being on this channel is if I'm dying in front of the computer. I won't stop doing what I do until Doctor Who is obviously the way it should.
I just want Doctor Who back. That's all I want.
Listen, I want to be able to sit down like we do every weekend. And even the weekend, sometimes we do get caught up in the whole Jodie Whittaker thing. But I just want to say one thing. I just want to get back to a time where we enjoy Doctor Who.
It's for everybody.
People have their opinions on Doctor Who.
Yeah, and it's for everybody, not just for minority groups. Exactly. Everybody.
So I've got a go now. Sorry.
No problem, Michael. Listen, pleasure having you on. We'll be having a panel soon, so drop me a message whenever you can come on, and we'll arrange for you to come back on again.
Okay, thank you. Bye, everyone.
Take care, Michael.
Thank you,
Michael. Thanks again.
Thanks for hopping on. And
awesome fellow.
Awesome.
Hope for this generation.
I hope what's his name is all right though. Because David, he hasn't read me message and he went. I hope maybe his internet went. But David, we'll certainly get you on again some other time, mate. But you've got your StreamYard now anyway. What I would say though is you are using it on a mobile phone. Just make sure that you clear the cache. You clear up all your. Make sure you leave enough room in your phone, and then you might get it to work a little bit better. But it is better. I have to be honest. It is better on a tablet, or obviously if you have a laptop, even better still. But guys, just getting back to this whole nonsense of Series 13 and beyond.
Well, I'll just say, can I just interject and say that when Andrew Cartmel was interviewed, he said something quite interesting, which was sort of not really acknowledged when he mentioned it, but he actually said when he was formulating this idea of a sort of, it wasn't an origin story. He made it quite clear. It was never an origin story because that defeats the purpose of the show. But what he said was that he had a mega fan on his team to tell him what the established law and canon was, so as not to tread on that and to be respectful of that. Now, he actually went out of his way when he was effectively showrunner back then to make sure that he understood canon, that he had someone who knew what he was talking about to steer him in the right direction. Chibnall, if he hadn't had such hubris and arrogance, he would have done the same thing, but he didn't care about that. He wanted to destroy the canon. He wanted to do this. Yes. Absolutely so in your face, obvious, and anyone denying it. I mean, we still got the people who said, oh, he wouldn't do that, from the Jodie side and the Chibnall side. Oh, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't. They've been pretty quiet about that. No, they don't mention it very often, but they do say when you get them off their sort of track, you know, well, we're not entirely happy with his writing. So they know it's not great. Well, you know, okay, they love Jodie, they think she's brilliant and whatever, fair enough. That's your thing. But they know. And it's like only someone who is either intellectually dishonest or intellectually unavailable can defend this era, because it's so objectively bad. I mean, anyone who's written anything more than, you know, a bit of creative writing or understands really great films or watches enough TV to understand how it works and, you know, how writers write, anyone with an ounce of that knowledge can see it's demonstrably bad. I mean, there's so many plot holes and stories and things that lead nowhere, no development of characters. People were just placed in there to act as a narrative drive, and then they disappear without any explanation. There's no explanation as to how the Master destroyed Gallifrey. Why didn't he do this before? Why was it destroyed again? He's also an unreliable narrator because he's an evil villain. So how do we trust him? Why is the Doctor so trusting of what happened to the Master's arc when the Master was missing? None of that's explained. How he survived, none of that's explained. I mean, Moffat did this as well. He didn't explain things, but I mean, in a sort of more forgivable way, because it allowed your imagination to fill in some of the gaps. But there is no imagination involved in this new era because he doesn't display any of it himself. And if you look at all of this in the whole, you know, it's all style and no substance. Not even style. I don't know what it is. It's a Frankenstein's monster of everything that's gone before, delivered in a very dead, flat way. Yeah. You know, he would have, if he was honest and if he was really a true believer in the show, why would you want to change it so much? Why would you want to change something that's worked for so many decades?
Past, though, that he
should have got someone on board to tell him that the canon.
Embarrassed by Doctor Who's past, though, because he even said it
clearly.
So, yeah, fair enough. You might be embarrassed by Doctor Who's past, but a lot of fans aren't. But that doesn't give you the right to change it because you don't like it. You know?
The caretaker. He's a caretaker. He's there for a certain period and then he's gone. But he's left an indelible mark that it's going to be so hard to wash off. You know, he's pissed all over it, like a dog on a fire hydrant or a lamppost. You know, he's just done that. He's desecrated it. He knows that. His masters know that. Piers Wanger, whatever his name is, Piers Wanger thing. Yeah. He's clearly the one who's driving this editorially. Because he's the one who's saying how wonderful it is, but he's clearly the one who's driving it. So he's blowing his smoke up his own bum.
Yeah, exactly. See, his own job is at risk now, so he must come out and actually say that, even if he didn't believe it. He has to come out and say that now.
When are they going to wake up and realize that this kind of narrative, which has been happening across the board in all franchises, doesn't work? It fails every damn time.
They don't care.
I mean, they don't care because all they care about is pushing this message. And if they limit their audience, they don't care because they're in it for the long term. They want this to be a generational thing. They want this to be a start of something that goes on and builds up and builds up.
Yeah.
But It can't run. It's got no legs. It's as simple as that.
Well, it's got no legs now. I can tell you after Sirius
Falls
12.
flat on its face.
So I don't see that. Look, I don't see it recovering now. I think after the time, listen, Series 11 was bad, right? But I will say this now. I will give him credit for trying something new. It didn't work, but he tried, right?
No, I agree with that. You can experiment. You can experiment with the formula, or like they used to do. They used to sort of change whether it was a horror or one episode or one story, and then it became science fiction. And that's what, and maybe changing an aspect of it and doing something radically different. That experiment with it, no problem. But to actually go dipping right back to the start of this of the mythos, the lore, and to fundamentally pull the rug from underneath the character of the Doctor like that, and the entire Time Lord history, it's completely undermining the very essence of that character. All because of, I mean, the way it was done was so lazy. It was laden with tropes. It was done in a montage. None of the actors spoke a word. Not even Tete said a thing.
I know. That was
it's outrageous. Just a master riffing off about this story. Just for one reason and one reason alone, to make the Doctor originally female, to wash out all that white maleness. And it's so disingenuous. It's not even being honest with itself, let alone the audience. It's so contrived.
The fact that BBC have actually come out, or it's been rumored that they won't retcon this, actually just goes to show you that.
Well, maybe they're saying they won't, but they have to. They have to, otherwise they won't get the audience back. They have to. Even if they're saying they won't, or that they're going to progress it, they might have to change it so it's not strictly as we saw it. True, I don't know.
The implication is this, though, right? If he doesn't change it, or they don't retcon this, then it means then that Joe Martin's Doctor isn't, as Chris Chibnall has been saying all along, isn't an alternative universe or a parallel universe Doctor, and actually is this Doctor. I want this shit retconned. I'm sorry, I want it.
I'm going to stick by this prediction.
I think
she's going to be the new original first Doctor that should have been but wasn't. That's how I see it developing. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I hope I am.
Well, I hope you're wrong, but compared to Whittaker, she's a dream.
Oh, she's thousands of times better than Jodie Whittaker. It doesn't take much.
I mean,
you can put a thumb on TV.
Minutes in total. I counted it up. It's 20 odd minutes or so she's on screen. And in those 20 odd minutes that she's on screen, she does better in 20 minutes than Jodie Whittaker has done in 2 years.
Yeah.
That tells you everything you need to know about this new iteration.
But I tell you, if they do that, and they do sort of dance on Hartnell's grave with that, I think they're digging their own grave. Frankly, they won't find a TARDIS there. They'll find the BBC and Chibnall.
Listen, that'd be like digging his body up, and that's how bad that'd be. No, if they do that to Hartnell is the first Doctor. I don't care what they say. I don't agree. I don't give a crap if they said in the show that he had regenerations that we didn't say. I don't care, right? Hartnell's the first Doctor as far as I'm concerned. So he's can take that crap and you can shove that too. This Morbius bleeding no, we already know what there is, and he's can use it again. He's can keep using that as their excuse, right? That was already shot down. Even a man, get away. We don't even need, look, this is over. It's over. You've killed the show. Just do, Chris Chibnall, just do the proper thing now.
I mean, if this was an isolated incident, we would still be in shock and go, what's happening? What? But we see this happening across the board. We've seen it happen in Star Wars. We've seen it happen in Ghostbusters. We see it everywhere. Everything. Terminator franchise, the whole gamut, all the popular franchises, Star Trek especially, have been infected with the same trope. It's become a trope now.
But
And it's
I will say
tokenistic.
the most damage done with
Who.
anything is Doctor Who.
Absolutely.
Star Wars, in my opinion, yes, it can be revived. There's even talk of retconning the whole of Kathleen Kennedy's vision. That can actually happen. There is some good fan theories. Doomcock obviously has been reported.
Well, if that's right, then I hope the BBC take note and do the same.
That's what I mean. That's what I was going to say. So it can be possible if there's a willing to do it. And I don't know how true it is, but Doomcock did release news about The Last Jedi, and he was spot on. So when he's saying this is from the same source as well, I would sit up and take note.
Yeah.
If this does happen to Star Wars, fair play. I'm delighted for Star Wars fans.
The only trouble is if it is true, and that is what they're planning, and it's now become public knowledge, that might scupper that. So it may have been a bit of a move, maybe a bit of a preemptive move to have done that, and maybe something that backfires because they might go, oh, the cat's out the bag, we can't do it anymore.
And at the same time, then if the cat is out of the bag and people know, and it is common knowledge with other people, it'll be very hard for them to put the back out.
Well, there is the flip side of that, and hopefully if the response is overwhelming, that people are hopeful that that's true, and that feeds back to the studios to go, oh, right, well, they really
I'm
back.
I'm not a traditional Star Wars fan. Cheryl is, but for her sake and for all the other Star Wars fans' sake, I hope they do retcon this nonsense. Because that isn't Star Wars. What they did to Luke Skywalker's character, and listen, it was Kathleen Kennedy's goal all along. We all see that now. It needs to be retconned. But Doctor Who, in my opinion, out of all of the franchises, has suffered the most. I think.
Well, all the other franchises are ensemble characters, so you got a bunch of characters there. So it's diluted, whereas the Doctor is a lone figure, and undermining that character fundamentally undermines the entire show, the whole premise of the show.
Yeah.
So I mean, even if Chibnall is unwilling to unpick this horrible mess he's created, then hopefully whoever does take over, if it's not the next person, attitudes will change. Hopefully over time, so that can at some point can be remanaged.
No, I agree with you. We got a super sticker by Kip Ellis from Kip Ellis, a 149 super sticker. I can't actually see what it is because I'm on StreamYard. I think the last one you sent me, the super sticker you sent me, was it a unicorn or something? So I do love the super sticker. So thank you.
It was a unicorn, a doomicorn, or whatever they call it.
Yeah,
a brie pony, a brie pony.
I love it. Just the two lads. I mean, what's my opinion is already know my opinion. I think Chris Chibnall. I actually think Chris Chibnall has superseded even JJ, and I'll be criticised for saying this, but I think he's even outdone Rian Johnson with what he's done with Doctor Who. I said this during Series 11. I said Chris Chibnall produced the perfect piece of propaganda. If you go and watch Series 11, if you're into all those politics and you have all of those beliefs, it was the most perfect piece of propaganda you can come across. I think what Chris Chibnall has superseded them all. He has managed to destroy a show. Listen, he destroyed a show in 15 minutes.
Yep.
They've taken 3 movies to do it, but he did it in 15 minutes.
Well, he did it within 5 minutes, if you think about it.
Sorry, Lee, all right. 5 minutes, he destroyed Doctor Who's legs.
Probably not even that. I mean, it was so over in a flash.
Yeah.
The entire, 57 years down the toilet through a montage.
Right, I'm going to ask you all this last question, right? Because we're going to finish up, right? And what I'll do is I'll let you all answer, and then obviously, as I said, we'll finish up. But I want to ask you this: if BBC decide not to retcon this, right? Because they are scared, as it's being suggested, right? And they can't afford to do it because obviously they know to be a backlash. If even when Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker disappear, will you support the new showrunner, knowing that they won't retcon this? Because BBC have said, well, you can come in and do your thing, but you're not retconning the timeless children. You have to continue on. You could do your own thing, but you have to continue on as if the timeless children now is fact. Are any of you guys going to come back to Doctor Who if that happens?
Yes, I'd definitely come back to Doctor Who, especially if they make him a man. I would definitely come back to Doctor Who. But, all Chris Chibnall had to do was, in the very first story of Jodie Whittaker, all he had to do was give a narration as to why he'd become a woman. Why, after 3,000 years and 12 different men, did he all of a sudden become a woman? Just didn't make any sense. And that's what ruined it for me, not having an explanation or a narration for it.
Well, that's
there's all sorts but there's all sorts of... Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. I'm just agreeing with you. I was saying that as well. I said the thing that I find hard to believe about this whole thing, Gary, is the fact that they never explained it. We were just told to accept it, and that's the way it was. Go ahead anyway. Sorry for cutting across you.
No, but one of the other reasons is this: there's all sorts of implications, because we know the Doctor was a father and a grandfather. So my point is, what happens if Leela wakes up one day and her husband's suddenly a woman?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a good point.
Actually, I never thought of that, but that's a good point. I know. See, this is what I mean. This is the stupidity of the whole lot. This is.
They'll just say, "Oh, we're beyond gender and all those things."
They're
It's just
aliens.
a social construct, because they did that with Capaldi's Doctor.
Yeah.
Gender's just, we don't see this, and it's just like, yeah, he comes into intersectional politics. So,
Oh, Gary,
they're an alien space race, but they're into intersectional politics. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary, you're willing to come back if a new showrunner comes in and they make Doctor Who the way it should be made, but. Let me get this, because I want to get this right. So even if they don't retcon, is this what you're saying? Even if they don't retcon the timeless children, but they bring in a new showrunner that understands the show, you'll be okay with that to a certain extent, yes?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll ask you, Clobbering Times, next. How would you feel if, as I said, new showrunner, but they don't retcon this nonsense? Would you come back like Gary?
Nope. Short answer, no. If without the proper retcon, it's absolute dead to me. Doctor Who, and I've loved it since 1981. I've given it, even look, through the bad years or through bad episodes. A bad Doctor, just like with Star Trek or anything else, a bad episode I can handle. Fine. They're not all going to be great, just as anything else, However, when you show this kind of horrific disrespect for not only the fans, but the IP itself, things you did not create, you're stepping all over, Chibi. It won't change anything to me, because the pollution is in there. Again, a proper retcon and a really serious one and a big mea culpa, I might. But no, I sat through these past 2 horrific seasons trying to be fair, because you get you didn't watch it, and that's it. I'm out. It's gone. I've decided as a fan. Doctor Who died with the 50th anniversary. I'm using that as my cutoff point in my own silly mind as a fan. Yeah. And that's just me. As much as I love Capaldi, the actor, I didn't like his series. So, no, without the proper retcon and apology, I'm gone. And it's sad, because it breaks my heart. I remember how you were heartbroken over this thing, especially with the timeless Chibidrin. And I'm the same. Chibi... He's the disease, man, but he's not. The cure is called retcon. We're not going to get it, but we're not going to get it with Star Wars either. I don't believe that. I hope Doomcock is right, because I love him. We're not going to get it with Star Trek. We're not going to get it with comics. We're not going to get it with anything. It's all been taken over for agendas, and I just don't see them bending the knee on this when they should.
You've got a point. We'll just hope to God, let's just say, that people come to their senses, and we might. But I'll always have that little bit of hope, and that's what I always was on this channel. Even during Series 11, I remember I was trying to be as optimistic as I could, even though I was giving out. I was saying, this is grand, because I always had it in my head. I remember what Rabbi saying, but I do remember saying at the it's not going to happen. But I kind of did have in the back of me, maybe Rabbi is right, maybe everybody is right. It will be retconned, and that's how I'll be able to move on from this. But I still haven't been able to. I still watch certain episodes of Doctor Who, and I just get upset still.
Yeah.
And I know the other side won't get that. I get upset because I know what I'm watching. I know what's going to happen a few years later, and it's actually heartbreaking. It is. And again, I will say to you guys, watch that HBO video with Matt Smith, David Tennant, and Jodie Whittaker. And as I said, the most startling thing about that whole interview process is the way the two lads talk about Doctor Who compared to Jodie Whittaker. If you want to know which of those three actually loves playing the Doctor, it's very obvious.
She couldn't even get the name of the special right. I mean, unless they changed it, but I mean, come on.
True, but then
Revolution of the Dalek.
People out there that think that was a deliberate slip of the tongue.
Yeah,
A
right.
deliberate slip of the tongue, which would make me, right, this is my theory, right? I reckon we're going to get another episode or another story like Remembrance, right? And I think it's going to be a rogue Dalek, that Dalek that we've seen. We've already seen a blown up black Dalek on the bridge. Do you remember that footage that was really? I think
that's a bit contentious. That's a bit contentious. A black Dalek being shot. No, can't have that.
I think it's that one Dalek.
Yes.
I think it's that one Dalek against the other Daleks. I think we're going to get. I think he's ripping off, because that's what he does. He doesn't come up with an original. I think he's ripping off the premise of Remembrance. And don't be surprised if we do see a special weapons Dalek, and if we do special weapons Dalek, then you know exactly what he's doing. But listen, this man has no original thought. He has no original ideas. Remember, this guy was a fan, or claims to be a fan, right? I would question that now after watching what he's at the right.
Oh yeah,
2 seasons. I mean, no fan in their right mind would write that rubbish. I'm sorry, they wouldn't, and they wouldn't retcon, or they wouldn't try and explain the Time Lord's origins. That's something you just do not touch. As Doctor Who fans, for me, I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, that's like revealing, as I said earlier on, when they did the whole Darth Vader reveal, when George Lucas decided in the prequels to do that, it ruined it for me. It ruined Darth Vader for me, and I've never looked at Darth Vader the same, to be quite honest, because now I know that he's a twat.
Maybe Dr. Nasty, as the great Bolstrek calls her, will use the foot of Omega to destroy the Daleks in Revelation. Sorry.
You need about, no, this is what's going to happen, right? Because that happened when she did the last Dalek story. What you're going to see happen is you're going to see microwaves from the future. They're going to have, special weapons. They're going to be flying, and they're going to kill the Daleks.
To this day, I am still puzzled by this obsession with the bloody microwave. It was used in The Woman Who Fell to Earth. It was used in that travesty of a Dalek story.
Oh no!
I mean, I missed it. I was like, what? How? What?
I know.
Nonsense. It was another failed attempt at chibi humor, and the man has.
The newer fans will say, but the Doctor's defeated enemies with stupid things. Yeah, but a microwave. A microwave. And by the way, let's not forget that this Doctor actually isn't very nice either. Remember, this Doctor let a spider die. How many people?
She let all of them die by suffocation.
Yes.
Rather than being shot.
Has this Doctor actually killed? And remember, right, most of the human race was wiped out, and then she killed off she killed off 75% of the race.
Yeah, and then she left them in the 21st century to live their life in obscurity with no money, nowhere to live, no ID,
all these doctors
no passports.
That she actually decided that she was going to let Sasha Dewan's master be attacked by a bunch of Nazis because she got rid of his perception filter.
Yeah.
Michael explained it. They're female microwaves.
Why hasn't
female microwaves? So they're the bestest microwaves ever.
The bigger question is, how could he live off selling one microwave? LOS says Matrix Lord. There's Matrix Lord. Hey, pal. We were just talking about your news as well. I was telling everybody that you were saying Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker could be sticking around to Series 14. I've just let you know that I've received a list of people that want to join me on that flight to America.
Come on over. Come on over, all of you. Come hang with me.
I hope you're wrong this time. Sorry, but I really do. Because
well, we all do. And as for my answer, if I would come back knowing that they were not...
Gary sources seem to be pretty united in our opinion. But as I said last year, you know, I was wrong to dismiss your information last year. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice, to be honest with you. But obviously, we were wedding friends back then. You know, we wanted to rip each other's heads off. But now, see, that's how adults deal with situations. You see, now from wanting to rip each other's heads off to becoming mates. You see, we can sort out your differences. You don't need to be.
That's it. If people talk, just fucking talk. You know, that's.
You better be wrong, man. You better be wrong, and you have a word with that source again now.
make them make it go away.
Just tell that source, listen, is there anything us fans can do to make this go away? You know, if I know you want, listen, we all want him gone. I know where you start. See, it's actually quite startling, right? Because there was a few people that I won't say that weren't necessarily 100% behind this era, but were willing to give it a go. Now, I've watched these people watch Series 11 and 12, and to see how their opinions have changed, especially Rabbi's as well. Do you remember Rabbi Series 12 started off all optimistic? He was excited. He was more excited than the rest of us. First episode, he was happy enough with, if you remember. Actually, everybody was, including myself. I remember a lot of people were actually happy with the first episode. It was, you know, as I said, my level of expectation had obviously dropped. You know, it wasn't, you know, if you compare it to an RTD or Moffat story, it's still not great. But compared to that Chris Chibnall gave us, Spyfall Part 1 was certainly his best work. And then he followed it up with The Abomination, Spyfall Part 2.
So I can't distinguish the difference between one episode to the other because they're all equally boring and dull and stupid.
But Rabbi's cracking point was, I think it was Orphan 55, like it was for a lot of fans. Now, for me, you already know I was gone, but I was willing to give Series 12 a chance. But for me, if I was to look at this with cold hard eye, Spyfall Part 2 was where I think Chris Chibnall lost me, because he piqued me interest in the very first episode. I'll admit that, openly admit that. I actually thought, I even said to the wife at the time, actually, this is a bit of an improvement, isn't it? And everybody genuinely, even I think Ballstreck as well, it was an improvement, but everybody had lowered their expectations. And if you have to lower your expectations as a fan, well, then it's shit. So listen, he has to go. Whittaker has to go. And not just those two. His team of writers have to go as well. None of those writers that are around.
What are they doing writing science fiction anyway? They're not remotely interested. I mean, they're all political playwrights, soap writers, or poets. You know, like, I'm sorry, no, this isn't. You know, this isn't some backroom meeting in 18 whatever it is, France, Paris. You know, where they're trying to come up with some Robespierre-like revolution. You know, this is entirely the wrong mindset to do science fiction. If you want to put politics in science fiction, go and watch that 12-second video with Terrence Dicks telling you what he thinks about putting politics into Doctor Who and how it does not work. Does not work. And he said, this is the man, Terrence Dicks, you know, who was pretty much the showrunner of his time, you know, the script editor.
Yes.
He was there at the pinnacle of Doctor in the golden years, you know. The man knows what he's talking about, you know, and he's a very politically minded person, and you know he's always kind of skirted around the sort of politics of Doctor Who as well. But those stories didn't ever work very well, and that's true.
He said himself, he was right. Yeah, once Doctor Who starts going political, you know, you can have your messages within the show, and they do work sometimes. But
I actually have the exact quote here from Terrence Dix, and it says, if you're concentrating on putting across a political message rather than on doing a good show, I think there is a danger. Maybe you can do both, but it would be hellish difficult. And I think maybe there's a danger that the show wouldn't be as good as it could or it should be because you're not looking at the right aims.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
Spot on.
And I think that's a good point to leave tonight's.
Oh, you didn't ask me whether I'd come back. If
Oh,
I
yeah.
knew.
Sorry, go on. Well, I know you won't come back. You're
No.
like me. Come back.
Good
I
answer.
wouldn't come back until this is retconned. I mean,
How could I?
No,
in all
I
honesty.
don't blame Gary, and I don't blame any fan like Gary that does, right? I've just been too hurt by them, and I can't forgive the BBC right now, right? But there may be a time if this show, as Gary said, if it does end up being good, you never know. I could be persuaded. But I have to be honest with you, for me to be able to move on from this disaster, the Timeless Children, the whole lot needs to be retconned. Whether BBC have the will to do that, I do not know, and I don't believe that they do right now.
Not currently, no.
Maybe
Because I believe editorial, it's the best that's ever.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. It's always the best as ever, isn't it?
You guys are so problematic.
All right.
You're all my istophobies.
Oh well, yeah. Apparently, well, I got called racist by one of those people that came in and attacked Noel, and I said the only reason you said that's because you couldn't call me a homophobe. So, I mean,
I had
it's
to call
true.
you something.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll do. Pick the nearest
my God.
nomenclature.
Ister, you istophobies.
Yeah, it's so boring.
Oh,
it's like,
God.
oh yeah, whatever.
Right,
Having an
good.
opinion is racist.
Listen,
Yes.
look, yeah, you're right. And listen, we'll pick this up again because I don't think this conversation is over. And I think there will be more news over the weekend concerning this whole, because there will. You're going to start getting more news about this whole, whether the series is going to go ahead or not. And for me, ideally, I'd just like it to disappear.
It needs a rest, a long
And
rest.
Matrix Lord is still saying the same thing, and I will say, because he has been consistent on this, I don't believe it. I hope again you're right on this one, but he reckons Chris Chibnall is trolling us all.
Well, even if it is a big troll, and it's going to turn out to be whatever. I mean, yeah, they can always say that after the fact. But even if it is not what it appears to be, they've still did this to the fandom. They still divided the fandom like this, and they upset a great number of people for a long period of time. And I don't think anything's worth that narratively. Or we trolled you, it's all right, it's all a joke, It's like, yeah, thanks a lot. You know how many death threats and things we've had leveled at us, and all sorts of evil things. So piss off.
Yeah,
it's still garbage. Also, it's terrible entertainment. Even if you are going to say, "Oh, just kidding," it's a lousy show.
It is. It's boring. Listen, we did a whole watch along of Series 1 here with Christopher Eccleston, and I'm telling you, I never seen so many laughs. I never heard, I should say, so many laughs and how much people were enjoying all of this. And that's all I want. I just want that feeling back. And I'm not asking for much. All I'm asking for is for Doctor Who to be written in a way that
it's like Doctor Who.
Great all the fans by all means. But
imagine that.
What he said, that is Doctor Who. That's recognizable as Doctor Who. And unfortunately now it doesn't. And I just want to end on this because this is how stupid today's society is. So Derek McManus, who's a good friend of ours on Twitter here, and we do have he set up a few guests, but I've seen this, so I know this is true. So apparently he was called racist because he has a white PS4 controller. Because I have a black one and a red one, so I'm racist towards me own.
So are people homophobic if they don't have a rainbow-colored PS4?
Yes. I'm calling it now. You homophobes without your rainbow, whatever it is.
I'm telling you, this nonsense is getting ridiculous.
It is fucking insane. It's insane.
It was the same when the PS4 came out. The people were saying some woman actually brought it up.
What, some Karen?
Or you can only get it in white. What's the story with that Sony PlayStation? Why isn't it in black? And then someone actually made the point. Well, they always show it in white. They always have, but they have it in multiple colors. You'll get it in black, you'll get it in red, you'll even get a customized one. You fool you.
Crazy. I mean, how these people take themselves so seriously.
Stop and I laugh because this will make you laugh. So there's some woman out there. She has a blue check mark on Twitter, and she put up this whole post of how the word Karen is now racist, and we should not. And we
really? Wow.
Karen,
by labeling everything racist, you can stop anyone from saying anything.
I went into our Twitter account and I just replied this, and this is the reason why you're a Karen.
Racist against who? Just curious. What?
Women,
is there only
white feminists.
Is Karen a race now?
Yeah, Karen. Karen.
Wow.
Yeah.
There we go.
This is how ridiculous we.
Can you imagine a race of Karens? Oh my god.
No.
I can't even say that.
Like,
but they're definitely from another planet. We'll put it that way.
Yeah,
and Michael is obviously, representing the Smurfs there because he has a blue PS4. Well done, mate.
That's racist against Dr. Manhattan.
That's it. Dr. Manhattan, whatever. Yeah, there you go. But you're being all inclusive. But listen, we'll leave it at that. I want to thank all of my guests tonight. It's been a pleasure having you on, especially Mark and Clobbering Times. Absolutely.
Oh, thanks.
It's been an honor, sir.
And Lee, well, surely I have you on all the time. You want to be thanked as well now?
Yes. I'm special. Funny and brave.
I like to thank Lee as well. No, I'm only messing. I like to thank Lee. And Lee will be joining us again. It's tomorrow. You join us for the classic one, isn't it?
The classic one, yeah.
So we have the Mind Robber tomorrow.
Great.
So don't forget to get you our copies of the Mind Robber.
Love it. Oh, look at that Pertwee figure. Love it, man.
I'm sure if you don't have it, we'll be able to sort it out for you. And there's Gary's Pertwee figure. And Pertwee is the next story next week. I've already picked it. I won't tell you yet, but I've already picked it. And there's a reason why I picked the episode or the story as well.
I met the man.
And it's not. And
damn.
The reason I picked it's not because it's a Pertwee story. Even though that's the reason why I should have picked it. I picked it because there's an actor in it that just recently passed away. For anybody who was in New Who, he played the copper, what's his name, Billy Shipton. The actor was also in Frontier in Space. He only recently passed away. So I wanted to do it in memory of himself because he deserves some recognition. So I might as well I'll tell you the story. So next week's John Pertwee story is Frontier in Space. So that gives you a lot of
great
time.
episode. Great.
So that gives you a lot of time now to get that story.
It's not time slip.
It's
no time slip though.
What?
It's no time slip though, is it?
No. You've still gone on it. Right. Okay. We have to go now. It's a Friday night. It's the weekend. Daddy has to feed himself and his missus before she
kills you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
As I said, pleasure having you on. Gary, pleasure having you on the Clobbering Times as well. As you
nice to meet you guys too, and the put names and faces.
Happy Independence Day, everyone.
Oh, happy 4th of July to you.
And listen, we will have you on again, lads, now that you have the StreamYard and so it'll be good. We'll be able to get loads of you on. I could bring 80 years on now, so there'll be even more bigger panels now. So we'll enjoy it. Thanks, guys. Pleasure having you on. Oh, by the way, you are on. Do you have YouTube channels?
No, I love one now.
Gary doesn't have one, no?
No, but I'd love one.
And Clobbering Times, you do, because you mentioned the YouTube channel, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Just started one, and it's called Clobbering Times. I've just moved over from my 11 years, 700 episode stint on Blog Talk Radio, and I'm just starting this one up. I'm on episode 4 on the 4th tomorrow night. So
Right,
Yes.
well, there you
Well,
go.
we can put the link up if you want to put it
Yeah,
up in
if you wanna
the
put the
live
link,
You're too
comments.
kind.
Put it up in private chat. I mean,
And don't forget to subscribe to Clobbering Times.
Thank you.
I won't ask Lee because Lee does have a YouTube channel, but he doesn't really bother.
oh,
on
it's
it.
just old band stuff. So yeah,
But if you
So-
do want to check his channel out, he does have a channel.
I do.
Indeed.
He's been
So
working
Je-
on something for me for the last few weeks anyway. And I
Oh,
got
I've been super busy.
so
Yeah, Clobbering Times. Just put in your link into the private chat here on the StreamYard private chat, and I'll post it up in the chat.
It's done. Chris has it done.
Oh, brilliant! Oh, well done, Chris.
Oh yeah, my buddy Chris has it. He's a good buddy. Thank you,
He's
sir.
a good
Chris
man.
is always on the ball. Chris is always on the ball.
Thank
It's
you,
the
Chris.
same when I join in a stream somewhere as well. He'll always throw my channel.
The
up.
wrench of legendariness.
He's always good like that, I have to say. I think Chris has been responsible for a few of me subs as well, to be honest, because I'll go in, he'll see that on there, and he'll automatically share. So thank you, Chris. We appreciate everything that you do, mate. And as we said, when you reappeared, it is good to have you back. The streams didn't feel right. And I don't think anybody's streams felt right when your name wasn't popping up. So, as we said, good to have you back healthy and fighting fit. And, you know, as I say, you all stay safe, guys. Look after yourselves. And,
Thank you.
you know, we'll see you all tomorrow. So, good night, folks. I'll leave you with the channel outro. Obviously, we will have a new intro as soon as Lee is
Stop
satisfied.
bashing his head against the wall, trying to make a new one. Yeah.
As soon as Lee, as I said, Lee is not going to hand me this until he's satisfied with it. I mean, what he showed me was absolutely amazing. So I can't wait to actually see the final result. But
The way it's going, that might be it.
well, to be honest with you, you know, I thought it was excellent. I said it to you. You're the perfectionist, so you know.
Well, you know, it's my own reputation I've got to consider.
That's it.
I can't deliver half-hearted.
That's it. Well, that's
Or
it.
half-assed.
As I said, when it doesn't matter how long it takes. You know, we're in no rush. You know, you've done some amazing work on the channel already, and everybody is loving the new logo. So I have to say again, thank you.
You're welcome.
I love it. Right, guys, we're off. Good night. Stay safe. All you guys in the chat as well. Chris and all your moderators, thank you for all of the comments as well. And Kip, thank you for the super chat, mate. Really appreciate it. And everybody saying good night. Good night to you all. And we will talk to you all tomorrow. Join us for the classic Who, right? And then new Who on Sunday. Right, see you later, boy. Guys.
Bye-bye.
Boy. Good night, boys and girlos. Have a good one. Enjoy the weekend. Good night, folks.